welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are gonna be covering how you can drift in the crew motorsport, as I'm sure this is something lots of people are gonna be having questions about over the next few days as the game releases for the general public. And luckily I've been able to figure it out pretty well as I have some good cars you can use whether you're just beginning or you have a bit of money to play around with. Now keep in mind this is gonna be mainly for controller players, but I do have a steering wheel, so if you guys want to see some steering wheel settings or how to drift on steering wheel coming up, comment down below and I'll be sure to get one of those videos out for you guys. But anyways, diving in here, the best place you can practice is actually on these pre-made drifting events. So I'm gonna go ahead and back out and show you guys which events it is that I'm talking about. And it's actually any of these yellow ones around the map. Now some of them are races, so make sure that the scoreboard has drift points and not a time, and then you're sure it's a drift event. And if you don't see any, it's probably because you haven't started the drift experience here. And to start it, I do believe that you need a car. And the car that you need to get to start it, I believe, is this one on screen. It's pretty cheap, only about 200k, which you should be able to make in your first hour of just doing events. But the car that is gonna be the best for drifting, point drifting, getting those maximum scores is actually on the screen right now. It's the Forsberg Racing, and it's a little tricky to find actually. You have to scroll down all the way to Forsberg instead of Nissan. Kind of really weird, but there's some really good drift cars in here. It's actually this one right here. It's like 360 or 350k. It took all my money to do it. And then once you have this car, obviously apply whatever upgrades you can to it. The maximum of each, I've already gone ahead and done that. And if you're interested in how you unlock these upgrades, just by completing the drift events, it's pretty straightforward. As soon as you complete one, you get 3 additional upgrades that you don't have, and then there's the best ones on each one. And then in terms of my pro settings, which I'm sure you were curious about, I didn't really change a whole lot. The final drive I brought down just a tiny bit. And then other than that, it's kind of just the camber for the front and rear, as you can see right here, maxed out. And then I don't actually know if that does a whole lot. And then one other thing I changed was my grip. I just dropped it a little bit. Again, I don't know how much these help. These are just the things I do. But anyways, let's get to the actual drifting. How do you do it? Well, I'm gonna go to an actual drift event because it's easier to show on there. But for the most part in this game, there's no handbrake drifting, which is really weird compared to most games. In Forza especially, you have to use your handbrake to extend corners. In this game, your best friend, imagine your NOS is your handbrake. So if you want to extend a corner or you're not sure if you're going to make it, use your NOS like you would your handbrake. That is the biggest tip I can give you. Now, other than that, it just comes down to throttle control. And you'll notice as soon as I turn the car, I'm hammering on the throttle as soon as my tires are locked in the opposite direction. We'll show you better once we get to this event. Just give me 1 second. Now, it's a little tricky to show because I don't have my controller active, but as soon as I'm going left here and my wheels are locked right, it's all throttle control. I'm just tapping on the gas, maybe holding it the whole way, and then correcting myself slightly with the thumbstick to the right or to the left, and it just holds you in the drift. There's not a whole lot to it. Now, I know a lot of people are having a hard time learning how to drift in this game. It is very different than most games, but as soon as you get yourself into angle, which is also very different than most games, you'll see that I don't do a handbrake or a clutch kick. I just swing myself out and hold myself in that angle. Now I'll come to a stop and I'll show you guys what I mean. When I'm going forward, I'll go left and then right. That was a bad example. I'll go left and then to the right, and then I'll hammer on the gas as soon as I start swinging out, and it will just lock me into a drift. And then I point the stick right when I need my back to kick out a little more. I don't know if that's making any sense, but you're using a lot of your momentum to start yourself into your drift. And once you're in your drift, it's just all about holding on that gas and correcting yourself with your front wheels. As you can see, my wheels will turn inwards a little bit when I need more angle, and outwards to stop myself from spinning out. It's very straightforward, and if you're frustrated with the drifting in this game, honestly, the biggest chance is that you're using just the wrong car for it. But as you can see, once you're locked into an angle, it's very easy to hold that angle. And say I wanted to hold this angle a little better up here, as you can see where I might normally hold my handbrake, I'll just hit the NOS and it speeds me up enough to extend the drift any amount that I may need. And when I was getting comfortable drifting, I was actually using the NOS to get myself initiated, and definitely lowering the grip helps you keep your angle as well because your back tires don't catch as much. The only thing I can't stress enough is never touch your handbrake. There's literally no reason for it. And the biggest thing also, when you start a transition, so I'm about to go from the right to the left here, I let off the gas when my car crosses the middle point. See, I'll call this the middle point right here. As we get up here, I'm gonna change my angle again. Off the gas in the middle, and then I hammer again. There's like a split second where you're off the gas, and then you go right back on the gas to get drifting the other way. It's a little bit weird to get used to, but once you figure it out, you kind of have no problem drifting any car. So if you boys found this video useful at all or it helped you out, let me know down below. As well as if you have any questions, let me know about that and I'll try to answer them in the comments. I feel like I figured out drifting pretty well. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications for more daily crew content. As always, we'll see you boys in the next one. I'm out. The peace.